Real estate as an investment class. We're here with Ted Cronin of Manchester Capital to talk about how investors can incorporate real estate investing into their portfolios. Welcome, Ted.
Well, thank you for having me. It's so wonderful to be here today.
Yeah, at Manchester Capital, you recently, well, within the last couple of years, have gotten into direct real estate investing.
Correct.
Just curious as how you got into that and how that came about and why.
Well, the mission of Manchester Capital is really to care for families intergenerationally, from generation to generation, not only preserve their legacy, but also their wealth, of course. And so there are multiple ways for us to allocate a portion of their portfolios to real estate. One would be REITs, publicly traded instruments. Another would be partnerships, where they get involved with a real estate developer. And a third would be to own real estate directly. REITs are fine, but for very wealthy people, sometimes they're not as effective because of some of the fee structures and the way they, move with the markets and so forth. And we found that partnerships were difficult because they always had a time frame, a carried interest, and high developer fees. And so, at the end of 7 years, you might have a wonderfully performing property, but the developer wants to sell it, and the family gets stuck with the problem of having the money coming back and the problem of reinvesting it. So we turned to actually buying real estate directly for clients. And for those that had sufficient wealth, we would take from them a mandate. And they would say, oh, I want to own a historic building in downtown San Francisco or something. And on their behalf, we have a team of people that will go and find properties that are appropriate, identify ones that make sense economically in terms of doing all the math involved, and present it to the client. And if the clients like it, let the clients buy it on their, directly in their name, on their behalf. And then we will help manage it if they like us to, but otherwise they get to own that in their portfolio in perpetuity. So it's wonderful.
What kind of role does real estate play in a typical portfolio? Is it an alternative class?
It would definitely be an alternative class. And certainly at this time in the markets, with fixed income being where it is, we have very modest allocations to fixed income. We've maintained our equity allocations, but we've been increasing our alternative allocations. And real estates are a very important part of that. And for families, an added benefit for real estate is that, unlike owning like another 100 shares of IBM or something, actually owning some dirt, they become personally very attracted to it, and they really enjoy sharing it with their family and showing their kids what they own and so forth. So emotionally, it's a benefit in addition to the finances.
How has it performed over time in the portfolios in terms of correlation and so forth?
It's been incredible. I mean, we've gotten fantastic performance numbers out of it, which has been wonderful. It's been very stable. In 2008, when the markets really struggled, certainly if you were in the stock market, you had a tough time. But real estate had a consistent income performance and so forth, and valuation was very stable. And so it really helps dampen the portfolio volatility. So it's a wonderful asset class.
What sorts of things should real estate investors look for in an advisor who might have this expertise or not? What kinds of questions should they ask?
Well, they should make sure that the team that's going to be helping them has demonstrated professional expertise in buying real estate in the past and knows how to do it. And it's doing it on their behalf rather than on the developer's behalf. Rather than structuring it in a way that the developer is getting the better piece of the pie, that they are actually totally in control of it and are really, in essence, just paying the advisor a fee for finding and identifying the property and structuring the transaction itself, and then being able to step aside and let the family own it forever.
Terrific. Thank you very much, Ted.
Well, you're welcome.